battle community, you certainly have a way to get my attention. And this matchup in particular that I've been hearing a lot of people suggest does not work. And I'll tell you why. This is going to be me coming out as a hardcore Predator fan, and I love Star Wars to death, but I love Predator. And yes, this is coming out someone who's a hardcore Predator fan, and who's seen a lot of stuff regarding the Predator, and yes, I've got a serious problem. Now, first off, why do I not like Boba Fett versus Predator? First off, the connections don't match, for one. Let's see. One connection that people bring up, both of them are galactic hunters. Now, first off, Boba Fett does not hunt. Boba Fett is a galactic bounty hunter that gets paid. There's a big difference there. Predator does not get paid. Second of all, there's the other connection that people bring up. Both of them follow a code of honor. Now, this one, I don't see that working, because Predator follows the code of honor to a T, unless it's a bad blood, where the bad bloods have no code of honor, and they hunt using means that are more brutal and even more deadly than the normal hunt. And even go against the code of honor by hunting children and old people. So, you're telling me that this is a good matchup are sadly mistaken, because first off, there's more than one type of Predator. Now, I'm going to a huge shout out to Acid Glow, and I'm going to recommend a couple videos talking about the Predator fighting certain characters. Now, the Predator has fought the likes of Superman twice. The Predator has fought the likes of Batman a total of 4 times, and the Predator has even fought Judge Motherfucking Dredd. And I'm not making a joke about that either. So, big shout out to Acid Glow, because now I'm going to literally tell you exactly why Predator versus Boba Fett does not work. First off, Boba Fett does not follow a code of honor. He only follows where the money is at. And he's fallen into the Sarlacc pit. And has not survived. Well, then again, he did survive. But it took him years to get out of that Sarlacc pit. Predator, there's different types. Yes, the Predators even fought the likes of... alongside the likes of Jackie Estacado, you know, the guy who uses the darkness, a very supernatural ability that literally fucks people up. And let's also not forget that the Predator also teamed up, and yes, this also depends on the Predator and the gender of the Predator, because the Yautja are a clan of Predators. There's different clans of Predators. Like, let's see, there's the Dark Blood clan from Predator Hunting Grounds, or not Predator Hunting Grounds, Predator Concrete Jungle. Predator Hunting Grounds is a totally different game. Predator Concrete Jungle follows a Predator named Scarface. Yeah, Scarface, if I remember correctly. And after not surviving the plasma bomb on his gauntlet and being dishonorable, there's only one way to get back into the clan. You have to actually prove your honor and survive. So yeah, I could go on. So if you want to learn more about the Predator, I recommend going to Acid Glow. Now, basically, Predator versus Boba Fett is not a good matchup. And I do not like the idea of Boba Fett fighting just a normal standard Predator, because you're going to have to combine multiple Predator feats from comics and different sources in order for it to work. And even if you do that, the Predator will still win. And if it's a certain Predator, it doesn't work, because that Predator has a certain limited amount of gear that you can work with. Like Jungle Hunter, for example, from the first Predator movie. The Jungle Hunter was built and made for the jungle. And fought the Arnold motherfucking Schwarzenegger. And name me one actor. Oh, Boba Fett fought the Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford. No. They may be recognizable, but they are not as iconic. In fact, I could tell you exactly when Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back came out, as well as Predator. Predator, 1987. Okay? That was the first Predator movie. Now, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the... God damn it, computer. Don't you start with your randomness. Empire Strikes Back, 1980. Sure, 1980 is 7 years prior to the Predator. But you gotta understand, Arnold Schwarzenegger's been around a lot longer than Star Wars. Now, who do I think would work better for Boba Fett? Boba Fett Death Battles. No, just Death Battles. What I think would work better for Boba Fett? Why not Vile? Vile would work perfectly for Boba Fett. Both of them have the connections that could totally work, and it's easy here to work with. And you're probably thinking, but why not Predator? Predator is better off fighting the Arbiter. You're probably wondering, who the fuck is the Arbiter? If you don't know who the fuck Arbiter is, shame on you. And second of all, he's from Halo. So, like I said, who do I think would be better off fighting the Boba Fett? Why, that would be Vile from Mega Man X. And who do I think is better off fighting the Predator? Why, Predator versus Arbiter. They both are base warriors. They both follow a code of honor, and they actually do get their jobs done. So, you can shout at me in the comments all you want on why Predator versus Boba Fett works, but it doesn't. It just doesn't. So, I'm going to even get you the pictures of what I think works better for both these characters, and you can understand. Also, yes, the image that I found for Boba Fett vs. Predator isn't that great because it's hard to find this crap. So, now, Acid Glow can give you all the information you need on each different Predator. Like, I will leave a link to his channel in the description. I'm not going to bring up a video and have you sit you through a bunch of Predator talk, because there's different versions of the Predator. Like, there's the Prince Predator from AVP2 for PC. There's the Predators from the arcade game. There's the Wolf Predator from Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which, of course, is a bad movie, but that is besides the point. Now, here are the two matchups I think would work better. Once I get the image up. For Boba Fett, I recommend Boba Fett versus Vile. Now for Predator. Who do I think would work better for Predator? Well, the match that I think works better for Predator once I find the damn image, this matchup. Arbiter versus the Predator. And good God, that is a big fucking image. So yeah, this matchup works a lot better for Predator. They have the connections. They both are honorable characters. They follow a specific code. They fought They fought big alien threats and teamed up with powerful beings. So, Predator versus Boba Fett is not a good matchup. This right here is a good matchup. So, these two matchups work better for those characters. And this matchup does not work, because there's different types of Predators, and you can easily work the Predator's gear in to fight the Arbiter. And Predator versus Boba Fett does not work. Like, I don't see the connections. The connections don't make any sense. The connections don't have a matching theme. And the Predator is better off fighting Arbiter. I still think he's better off fighting Arbiter because the connections are there. For Predator versus Boba Fett, there are no connections that match. Because Boba Fett's not honorable. He's more like a bad blood than anything. He doesn't follow the code of honor. And hell, even in the Mandalorian series, Boba Fett is regarded as a disgraceful disgrace than he is a Mandalorian. By other Mandalorians. So, that just shows you that he's not honorable. I could be shouting shit all day about this matchup, and why I don't like it. But I gave you the pinpoints on why I don't like this matchup, and this matchup does not work. Like I said, this is something coming from someone who's a hardcore Predator fan, and yes, I got a serious problem. This is coming from someone who's a dedicated, diehard, hardcore Predator fan, who's watched a lot of stuff regarding the Predator, and yes, I've got a serious problem. Hell, the upcoming Predator movie has the Predator fighting off against a Native American. That just shows you the Predator can fight something with honor. Boba Fett would not be a worthy foe for Predator. Like I said, I could be shouting shit all day. This matchup is both frustrating and annoying. And I would have my tier list of Death Battle Season 8 if it weren't for the fact that people don't know how to prep it. If someone could please prep me a tier list for the Boba Fett, or not Boba Fett versus Predator, but for the Death Battle Season 8, this matchup has already got my head spinning into questioning why people would think this is a good idea. And this is not a good idea. Predator would kill Boba Fett, because Predator has a way to track Boba Fett down. You know that plasma caster? He has a mask that can fucking target him. Once those three triangles hit him, bam! It's game over. If you've not seen the Predator movies, I'd recommend you do, because you really could use some learning on why Predator versus Boba Fett would not work. Predator versus Boba Fett is such a frustrating and a disappointing match. It should not even be an idea. It should be listed as the worst ideas known to man. Whoever think this is a good idea. Predator has fought the likes of superheroes and superhumans, and you're telling me that this is a good idea. Boba Fett's not a superhuman. Boba Fett is a bounty hunter from space. He's a galactic bounty hunter that goes where the money pays. And yes, I know there has been newer shit for Boba Fett, especially the Boba Fett series, which I still have yet to see, but Boba Fett does not fight well against Predator, especially when the Predator has different essential tools that he can use against him. He can easily disable the jetpack with the freaking plasma caster. He can, or the freaking combi stick. The combi stick is the spear-like weapon that he can use in melee combat or ranged combat. Hell, the wrist blades. He could easily get up close and personal with Boba Fett. He could easily slice his fucking pistol with just his claws. Literally, Boba Fett's fucking useless laser pistol is gonna get sliced by Predator's claws. Let's not forget, he's also got the smart disc. Predator's got the smart disc. Do I need to fucking go through every arsenal that each Predator... I could go through every arsenal each Predator has all day, but it'd be so long and so tiring, it's unreal. Like, there's no way Predator fighting Boba Fett is a good idea. Like, it just doesn't work. It really doesn't. Seriously, I think Predator versus Arbiter makes way more sense than freaking Boba Fett fighting Predator. Like, it just makes... It's just there. Hell, Vile versus Boba Fett makes more sense. Hell, I could even say that Wolf from Star Fox versus Boba Fett makes more sense. So, yeah, I could shout shit all day on why this matchup doesn't work. But it just doesn't. And believe me, this gives me a fucking headache beyond comprehension onto where I'm asking, why the fuck do you think this matchup works? I sure as hell don't. And like I said, there's better opponents for the Predator, and there's better opponents for Boba Fett. And those two against each other just doesn't work, because there's multiple different Predators with different stats and gear, and there's only one Boba Fett. And not to mention, Boba Fett could easily be outclassed by the Predator, because the Predator could easily just use the combi stick or the smart disc to disable his jetpack. The Predator could easily modify his weapon. And let's not forget, and you think but the Boba Fett has a lightsaber. He could use that to chop the Predator's arm off. No. Predator can easily find a way to outsmart his opponent. Like, he could easily take the plasma caster and modify it to his heart's content. Yes, the Wolf Predator did this in the movie, even though that movie was utter shit, because it was utter crap. Like, they basically turned what was good in concept into a fucking slasher movie. So yeah, you hear my frustrations with this matchup, and I can understand why people want this matchup, because there's not really any other good opponents for Boba Fett. And we certainly don't want fucking Boba Fett versus Samus Aran again, because we already know who's gonna win that matchup. Like, Samus is going to destroy Boba Fett. And I can understand why that Boba Fett does not have any other opponents. But there's Star-Lord, there's Vile, there's even freaking Wolf from Star Fox. There's those three work better for Boba Fett. Well, Predator, it's easily Arbiter. Arbiter works better for him. Hell, the DBX with Predator and fucking Prophet from the Crisis games. Predator literally took the plasma caster and shoved it on his gauntlet and used it as a power gauntlet. Like, he literally used that thing as a gauntlet that could punch freaking people forward. So you can get creative with the freaking Predator shit. That just shows you! Boba Fett's outclassed! Boba Fett is outclassed by the Predator. Depending on what species depending on what type of Predator you use, and depending on what gear you give him, that's going to determine the outcome. And that's why I don't like this matchup. It just doesn't work. You can't just use one specific Predator. And it just doesn't work that way. Like, Arbiter versus Predator, you could easily use a composite Predator and make it work. Whereas this one, you can't really use a composite Predator. Like, you'd have to use specific gear. And that's why I don't like this matchup. And I'm afraid that they'll botch it beyond belief. So, again, I could shout shit all day. And I know I've said that multiple times throughout this thing, but this is a fucking headache in its own. Ugh. So, matchups I think work better for Predator. Arbiter. Matchups I think work better for Boba Fett. Wolf versus Boba Fett. Star-Lord versus Boba Fett. Even freaking... you guessed it. Vile. From Mega Man X. It works way better for matchup reasons. We could have round 3 of Boba Fett versus Samus, but then again, Samus knows how to fucking outmaneuver him. Thanks, Nintendo. You didn't have to make her more broken than she already is. I mean, to be fair, she's already broken, and yet they want her to fight Master Chief, which would be a better matchup for her. It would be a legacy on a certain animator, being Monty Ohm, and it makes more sense. But I understand people want their Master Chief versus Doomslayer, because it's another matchup that people want. Now, like I said, Boba Fett, Vile, Wolf, or Star-Lord. Those are the opponents that I think would fit better for him. It would make way more sense. Predator, it would be Arbiter. I could say Xenomorph versus the Yautja, but then again, we've seen that in movies so many times, it's unreal, and it can go either way. So, there's your proof on why I don't think this matchup works. And yes, you could shout at me in the comments what you think, but I could go through all of Predator's stats all day, but nothing or anyone thinks that this is an okay matchup. I don't think it's an okay matchup. I think it's a terrible matchup. I think these two have better opponents out there. But what was your thoughts on this? I know this was just me getting my frustrations and annoyances out of the way, as well as explaining in brief why this matchup doesn't work, and explaining why the connections don't work. And yeah, I still think Predator's better off fighting Arbiter. Predator is not good with fighting Boba Fett. Boba Fett is better fighting off either Star-Lord, Vile, or freaking Wolf from Star Fox. And yeah, so you can understand my pain and suffering with this. So I know this was something, and I know I haven't gotten to my Death Battle tier list yet for Season 8. That's going to be a whole stream in its own, because I have to set up the freaking tier list. Unless someone can actually make a tier list for me, I would be really grateful for that. That way I can explain what my favorite Death Battles are and what I think are the best ones. And I already know my biggest favorite being Saitama versus Popeye, and my least favorite being Lex versus Doom. So, again, hopefully you enjoyed this. Yeah, this was one of those complicated videos where I had to literally go out of my way and explain why this matchup doesn't work. And the connections aren't there. Like, people think, oh, but Predator and Boba Fett have a code of honor. No. Like I said before, Boba Fett does not follow a code of honor. Even some Mandalorians in The Mandalorian called him a disgrace. So that just shows you something. So yeah, that just shows you that this matchup does not fucking work. So, again, till then, your Captain of the Head Fleet signing off. I'll see you in the next stream. Ugh. I'm gonna go roll the credits, that way my head can actually get a clear... Ugh. Definitely shows you how frustrating this whole thing was. So, I could be shouting shit all day. I really want to know why people think Predator versus Boba Fett is a good idea. I really do. Because Boba Fett doesn't really have any other good opponents, and it just doesn't work. So, I don't see Predator fighting Boba Fett. I see Predator fighting Arbiter. And Boba Fett fighting either Vile, Star-Lord from the Guardians of the Galaxy, Vile from Mega Man X, or, you guessed it, Wolf from Star Fox. Those are the three opponents I could see Boba Fett fighting. But anyways, let me know what you all think. Till then, it's your Captain Hedgewolf signing off. I'll see you in the next stream.